You ready? Ta-da! I think it's good. Or like, oh, I might have got too much stuff and not a big enough cupboard. Oh, that's gonna look great, isn't it? That's very cool.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Last episode you saw us make the coolest hydraulic leveling system ever. Today we are going to be building a proper storage box for it. It's also going to be a home to a separate power system, which means we're building the first thing on the trailer instead of part of the trailer. And it also means it's my first ever proper aluminium fabricating project. We've cut sheets of 3mm aluminium. And we have a bit of a plan, but whereas usually I would do a bunch of CAD and design everything, we're winging it. Okay, we've made all the bits. We've cut all the panels. Well, for the outer shell, there'll be some other bits inside. It all fits now. It took a little bit of doing, because this shape is just really hard to measure, isn't it? And I also made a small mistake. We got these fancy aluminium cutting saw blades for the circular saw, and they were rubbish. They weren't working. And they were just melting the aluminium, and I realized I put them in the wrong way around. So they weren't cutting, they were just melting through. But we got there. It's all good. So we've got our bottom, our back bit, and then there's a top bit that goes on as well. And then we've got these side pieces that are going to go in something like that. And what's going to happen is they're going to bolt to this part of the neck, and it'll just sort of hang in there. It'll all be separated by rubber washers or spacers that we're going to make.
Maybe some angle to hold the base up a little bit.
I think
lots
so.
Of aluminium angle. We've got some aluminium box section as well. Maybe we can use something like that.
Yeah, we'll see how flimsy it is, and we'll just keep adding more until it's strong. So our aluminium is a bit bowing, and the same here, just because it's drooping down. So we've clamped a bit of angle at the back, so we can push this back and then lift up the bottom. And I'm just going to tack it in several places, and then hopefully that'll be good.
I'll lift up the bottom from the back. How hot is this going to become?
Shouldn't be too bad. Just let go if it gets too hot. Oh, it's doing a great job.
I shut my eyes the whole time. Just in case.
Forgot to clean all the edges and clean it before welding. I'll do that, but when we do the proper welding. Yeah, usually with aluminium you've got to be really careful on contaminants. So we've got a little stainless steel toothbrush, and got to clean up all the edges and then wipe it with acetone. But that's fine, it's just a couple of tacks to hold it in place. But it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Shelf.
Strong. Beautiful. Oh, it's amazing being able to weld upside down without any issues. So now, should we take it off, take it to the welding bench and weld the sides in?
Yeah, I think so.
And hopefully when we go to put it back in, it's still the same shape.
Yeah, I think it will be.
I hope so. Did we mention that we were laser welding this?
I don't think so.
We're laser welding this all together because aluminium TIG requires skill. Skill and experience.
And time.
And this is like a hot glue gun. It is basically just like a MIG. It pushes the wire out, but instead of an arc, the laser melts it and does magic. Now we've got to do this difficult bit of the end, which should fit in here perfectly, which it does. Okay. Is it making sense?
Of course it's making sense.
It's
We
a box.
built it on the front.
So I got 2 seams, I can weld down both sides. Nice. It's going to be very, very neat. See, it just makes you look like a pro. I was just seeing if it's warped, but no, it looks really good. That's the other good thing about lasering. Very little heat compared to MIG and stick.
Oh, there's so much when I was TIG welding that first box. There was so much heat because it took me so long as well because I was just a beginner. But yeah, it warped like crazy.
Hayley's first aluminium project was it was a storage box, wasn't it?
For the hydraulics.
Yeah, for the hydraulics.
That we never used.
We've gone full circle.
This utility box, we'll call it, is going to be multifunctional. So it's going to have the hydraulic system, like the valve block and the pump and the tank and stuff in it. All the hoses are going to route to it, but then it's also going to have an air compressor for doing our suspension for our airbags. And we're going to fit a 12-volt battery system as well. So separate from the Habitat and the truck, it will kind of act as a bit of a backup system and everything will be able to run from that. So the trailer's kind of self-contained.
The thinking is to have a universal 12-volt battery system, which you can get parts for pretty much wherever you go, right? I think there's going to be like a few kilowatts, maybe like 5 kilowatts or something. Ta-da! Please fit.
It's a great fit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does it look good?
Yeah, we made it really well.
Yeah.
Look under there.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's what I wanted. We've been separating everything with rubber washers, but we're also going to use like some other little things to make sure there's no aluminium on steel.
Yes, that would be bad. That causes galvanic corrosion. Is it like having a sag? Hello.
Oh hi. Yeah, that's great.
Is that having a bit of a sag here, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but we'll pull that in.
Will we bolt this to this as well?
Yeah, I think so. At the moment, the only bit of aluminium that's making contact with the steel frame is this lip here, and then when that goes in, it butts up against this. I've just been using that as like a reference because that way we had like a flat plane that we could work off of. And then I think once it's all bolted on, we'll just cut that little tab off and it'll be free floating in the right place. And as for bolting it on, to prevent the steel bolts from corroding against the aluminium, we've got these.
That's mine. While Pete's been welding away downstairs, I've been having all kinds of fun with my new toy. I think this might be the first toy that's like my toy.
You got a nice lathe.
That's not mine, I've never used it. Look. I should explain what they're for and how they work. Steel bolt goes through little top hat. Acts as a washer. There's a hole this size that's going to be 14 mil in the aluminium, so that passes through there. Then on the back of that, bolt needs to go through the steel. We'll put some more washers on, probably not this many, but like rubber washers. So the aluminium is in here and it's separated.
Check you out with your nice fancy office. You got your 3D printer, computer, a nice photo of our cat.
I like my photo frame. It's digital, look.
Whoa,
And it plays video.
that's so cool.
I got it full of hundreds of pictures of my cat, but Pete keeps sending pictures of his welds and CAD drawings to it. But even if you have friends and family on the other side of the world, they can all get access to your frame and then send you little photo updates. So it's a really nice way to stay in touch with people. And some of the photos on here have been just stuck on my phone for years and I never get to look at them. So it's really nice to actually have somewhere to display them. And I think it'd be really good for the tiny home too, because you'd be really strapped for space, but you can have all of your photos on display.
I've got a great one for the frame. It's the first day we got the lathe.
Oh, memories.
Yeah. I know that most of you watching might not appreciate a picture frame, but chances are you have a lady in your life that does. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.co.uk to get £35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Matte frames. Named the top frame by The Independent by using promo code RTOG at checkout. That's auraframes.co.uk and promo code RTOG. Support the channel by mentioning us at the checkout. Terms and conditions apply. So we've drilled all the holes in our neck that the box is going to bolt to. We've drilled 4 on each side. And then we've put what's called riv nuts through them, because if this is in here and we put a bolt through, we've got no way of getting to the other side to put a nut on with a spanner or anything. So what these are is it's like a threaded insert sort of thing that you put on the end of this tool, and then you poke it in the hole and you squeeze it and it crimps the metal hat down and secures this threaded part in the metal and leaves it there. It's like a rivet with a threaded bit inside. So now we can put that in here and we've got threaded holes all perfectly lined up. I hope they're perfectly lined up.
Also prepared these. Aluminium has a tendency to crack where bolt holes are because of the stresses. So we're going to double up around the bolt holes and weld around the edge, and then it'll be stronger. But it did mean that I had to redesign my top hat washers because I only made them 3mm high and I need to allow for 6mm now. I'll go in there like that.
Cool.
Okay, time to see if all our bolt holes line up. I don't think they are going to, not all of them anyway.
Always looking professional. It's very loud using the impact on this aluminium drum that we've made. It's sturdy.
We've decided as well to use nylon washers instead of rubber because the rubber ones just get squished into nothing.
Yeah, and I think as well over time rubber washers can kind of perish and then you just have a gap and the bolts aren't tight anymore, you know?
Has that come through?
It's come through. So our top bolts all line up real good, and Hayley's little top hats and the washers to spread the load work really well on this bit. Remember at the beginning when I was like, we're winging it and want to be fun, and I was all full of hope? Shouldn't have done it. The bolts at the front pretty much line up, but, and this is just my lack of experience in fabricating, I think, but you can't get a bolt in here because this is in the way. Look, you can't get it in. And I've tried a shorter one as well. I made a custom shorter one, but when you put the washer on and the spacer and stuff, the angle's just too tight. You can't have a long enough thread to reach in. I wonder if just 2 bolts on each side is enough. We've looked at it and gone, for quite a while. And we've bolted it all in properly with the spacers and stuff. And we've decided that it's strong enough. The only thing that wobbles is this bottom piece. And we're going to put a piece of upright, like an L lip on this, just to act as a shelf anyway, and that'll stiffen that right up, because when you wobble this back also wobbles, so there's going to be shelves and stuff in here to stiffen it all. So I think it's actually fine. I don't think we needed 4 on each side. If we do want to secure the bottom bit, then we can make a bracket under here to pick that up, but now we've just got these little holes.
I want to fill them.
He wants to patch them. I think we should leave them. It's like a tattoo.
No.
It reminds you of your mistakes, you know?
My mistakes?
No, my mistakes.
Well, you've still got to tack in those
Yeah, okay.
little squares now.
Yeah, I'll weld these in now. That's a chunky bit of aluminium. This is off of Moose.
It is, of his old horse box.
That was part of his horse box roof, I think, or something.
Yeah, we salvaged some good aluminium off of him.
Yeah, I like my little metal hoard. I've been organising our scrap. Okay, well this bit is actually pretty clean. Very thick. I'm not sure if the laser can do it. We might have to give it a couple of passes. Okay, cool. It's so nice using aluminium. Everything's so light and easy to carry around.
And kind of clean as well.
My back hasn't ached this week. Just need to cut off a bit and that'll go in there like that and make a real sturdy shelf. That'll really stiffen up that bottom bit. There's literally still mud and probably horse poo in this aluminium. Fresh out of the oven is this funky looking thing. This is a wheel spacer adapter for our hubs.
Prototype.
Yeah, so before it gets made out of aluminium, we've printed this to make sure it all fits and it's going to work properly. So we've been saying for a little while that we want to get new, bigger wheels, but it's a little harder than first anticipated. Our trailer is using these hubs. They're 250 by 40 trailer hubs, and we had to specifically use these because they work with our braking system. So we'll go into more detail about the braking system when it all arrives, but we can't order the braking system until we decide the wheels, because the wheel diameter has to get calibrated into the brake system because it's super fancy and it has its own ECU and all this kind of stuff. So this will convert this stud pattern into a slightly different stud pattern, so we can use more like conventional like truck and van wheels instead. And then we've got lots more options. So yeah, this will go on, bosh, and be bolted in place. And then the new wheels will be bolted onto this.
So does it not matter that it sticks out so far now?
Well,
the hub is enormous now with that.
Yeah, well, we haven't welded the axle into the suspension arm yet, and this is why we've been holding off properly finishing everything. It's not just because I can't be bothered. But yeah, so now we can adjust the axle because it slides in and out of this. We just want to make it so that the wheels don't overhang the habitat. We want them to be slightly tucked in. We've been working with a very helpful guy called Will at Rhodes Vans, and he's been trying to figure all this out for us, and he sent us these files. So I can't really take credit for this. It's going to look very trim.
It's going to look what?
It's going to look very trim.
What's that?
Like, man, it looks good. You know how that's it? Did I just make that up?
So.
Okay. I think it's good. It's not flexing at all.
No, it's just shaking the whole trailer.
Nice. Okay, so, oh, that sounds cool. So I'm happy with how strong it is. I don't think we need extra bolts, but we have a plan if we need them. So, as I was saying earlier, this utility cupboard is not only just going to be where we keep the air compressor for the air suspension and the hydraulics pump and all that stuff for the stabilizing legs. It's also going to be a home to a separate power system. So we want to have all the electrical related stuff for the trailer to be separate from the electrical stuff on the habitat. So that way the trailer doesn't interfere and we've always got power to do trailer related things. It can also then be an emergency backup power system for if we ever have issues in the habitat. And also it'll be a cool outdoor power supply as well, you know?
It's going to be pretty cramped in this cupboard. So, some Tetris. I've made blocks.
These are high quality components. Look at the quality on that inverter.
Where should we start?
Let's do the batteries.
Okay, well, I only made one.
Yeah, but we
I think they're going to go side by side, so we'll just space them out. I know you didn't just move that battery after I measured out where it goes.
Oh no, did you measure it? Sorry.
Yeah, that'll do.
Hey, do you know how people call CAD cardboard aided design?
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah. And then the inverter? The inverter's really big, much bigger than I thought. So this is all coming from a company called Renogy. They've been in the game a long time, making power solutions for camper van builds and motorhomes and boats and caravans, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's some pretty smart features, like it all talks to each other over Bluetooth and all that kind of thing.
Does that look realistic?
Yeah, yeah, it's realistic as it can.
Okay, next big thing is the hydraulic pump, which has to go here.
Yeah. And then the valve block. Okay. This is great to visualize things. We've got a DC to DC charger, so we can charge this system from our battery while we're driving. That could probably squeeze in anywhere, because we also have the air compressor, which is the next biggest thing.
Oh, let's get the air compressor.
Big. This is the cutest air compressor I've ever seen. Look at it.
So cute.
So that's going to have to go like on a shelf up here or something.
Oh dear.
And then, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, I might have got too much stuff and not a big enough cupboard.
The air valve block we're actually making, so that could potentially change.
So Hayley's had a bit of a rejig.
Yeah, I remembered that we don't actually need the full height for the motor in here. It kind of drops down, that's the tank, and it drops down. So we have this much space, we would just need to make a bit of a shelf for that to sit on. Yeah. And then maybe it secures to the side and has legs here or something and holds it up.
Yeah. Cool, okay.
But it does fit.
Yeah, we're going to manage just. Yeah, it's printed out of ASA, so it's...
it has to be printed very hot.
Yeah.
Has a high melting point, which is why it's good for this. Because if you imagine it a sunny day when it's inside that cupboard, you don't want it warping. There's 2 more parts to go in this box, but this is the back part. It's going to have components in here, and then sides, and then a front. Yeah! Ooh!
Welcome, my little station. So I've mocked up one of these. This is the valve block. We've got air going in and air going out, essentially. And on each side there's a relay, which pulls a valve that's in here that either lets air in there or it lets air out of there. So when you apply power to this side, it lets air in, and when you apply power to that side, it lets air out.
It's very similar to the hydraulic valve.
Yeah, and there's a nice gauge on there, so I can see the air pressure in each bag. And then to control it all, it's a bit overkill for now, but I've got this little Raspberry Pi which has some relays on it and some little single buttons.
Nice button. Give it a click.
It's got satisfying. A little clicker. So I think for now we're going to wire it up traditionally, where you push a button and it acts as a switch to send power to the relay. But later on, this will push a button and it will send a signal to this little microcontroller essentially, and then that will have a program on it that will control what needs to be controlled. So if I want to change the system at a later date, like one button runs a sequence of things, like to raise all of them or lower all of them or find level or whatever, I don't know. But
it's just a case of changing the code instead of changing wiring.
Yeah. So later on, when we have this computer system in the trailer that controls everything, we'll also be able to access the suspension from this network of devices. So yeah, we'll be able to have an app on my phone that will wirelessly connect over the Wi-Fi to our air suspension and control the air suspension from multiple devices.
Necessary.
It's very necessary. You mean the suspension in your car doesn't have Wi-Fi?
No, but I wish it did.
You're missing out. Of course our suspension needs its own Wi-Fi. No, it's going to be very cool. And I'm very excited to start tying all these systems together. But first I need to see if this is actually going to work. But it's looking like it's all going to fit on the 3D print, which is really good because I used 3D models online that I found for this bit, and it all very thankfully was accurate. This is like my arts and crafts.
It is.
Okay, they're all together.
In a way.
In a way, yeah. I've also taken the air fitting that was on the teeny tiny air compressor off and fitted one of these push fit ones for now. We can attach this to one of these and then power it on and see if it works. See how loud it is. And I don't know, I just want to play with it. And this will go into this. For now, just to test it, I've got these little bungs that go in there, like that. And
what does a bung do?
it just stops air coming out.
Oh,
So, yeah, because you see I've got all these are all in a line and they'll all connect, but then this one has an outlet that for now, I'll just put a bung in. But if we ever want to expand, we've got a second auxiliary output from this whole system.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Because maybe we want to inflate our tyres.
Maybe, yeah.
Pete's the king of future-proofing. Any eventuality that could possibly happen, Pete's thought of it.
It's why it takes me so long to do anything. So I'm like, oh, we could do this, but then, 10 years down the line, something might happen that requires this. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
It's on the move. Oh no!
Oh, we may have drawn too much power from our power bank.
Oh.
I was like, this isn't building air pressure very well. This is concerning. But all this is holding. Now, there might be enough air just to have a go at this, because this valve has these blue buttons on the top, and I think they're a manual override. I don't know if they work without power though, so...
Oh, they do.
Cool. So we've got a manual override in case we've run out of electricity.
Oh, yeah, good. We weren't sure if that was going to be possible. Oh, nice. Is that all the air gone now?
Yeah. I want to test it properly.
All right, we'll have to do something with that cable.
Some of the Renogy stuff just turned up.
That's good timing.
These are the batteries. We have 3 batteries. I don't think we can fit 3 in.
Oh, they're batteries.
Yeah, these are the batteries.
Oh.
Which does mean I'll have a spare for something.
Okay.
They're so cool, aren't they? And like, it weighs nothing. It's crazy. So, we'll go into a bit more detail about them next episode, but they are a self-heating smart battery, so they actually will heat themselves, so they can be outside, because the issue with batteries is when they get cold, they don't work so good.
And the Bluetooth.
Or at all. It's got Bluetooth, it's got 2 Ethernet ports, so you can use like all the usual comms for it to talk to all the other batteries and all inverters and stuff.
And our system?
And it's got Bluetooth. Yeah, it will. Okay. There you go. It's building up pressure this time, that's good. So I want to test these buttons to make sure. Yeah. Cool. So you can see as I push this button down, air comes out of this T, and this orange T would go to the airbag. So you see the gauge shoot up as air pressure goes through it.
And then the other button doesn't do anything because the pressure in the air would just come out itself because of the weight of the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We could test it. Why don't we get a bag and fill it up? Oof. There we go. So the airbags have just got this little 4mm hose going to it. So I didn't go for a bigger hose because I thought the smaller one will reduce the airflow and the suspension will move a bit more controlled, like, you know? Okay, so we've compressed the bag. So now we can see if we can fill it up with all our valves and stuff. And see if my theory of using a smaller hose is accurate, because I don't want to have to add like extra components to slow it all down. Oh, that's very fast.
Yeah, but it has no weight.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and then it would go down much faster.
Yeah. Shall I try it with me putting some weight on it? Okay.
You ready? It's going to lift you up.
Oh.
That's crazy.
No, don't lift me more. I can't reach.
Okay, it works.
They get very long.
Yeah, well, it's really difficult to test without the weight of the trailer on there, but we get the idea, right? It's going to work.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool, look at this tiny little compact system. I love it. We finished the valve block.
Wow.
Kind of. I mean, the base. It's all attached and all the hoses go together.
We'll go back there.
Oh, that's going to look great, isn't it? It looks so cool.
It's going to look great once the whole shroud is on.
Yeah. We're just going to weld some box section at the back there. One there, and then that back plate bolts to it. And then there's a lid and stuff for it goes over it with a front face and buttons and stuff.
And you see the batteries?
Oh yeah.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, they
solid.
look good. Yeah, super solid. So I think there's enough space for everything.
Yeah, we'll make it work. But that'll have to wait until next episode because we run out of time. Thanks for watching.
See ya.